What's going on, guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Kieran. I help people using a spiritual perspective. And I'm back. I'm alive. Hi. Turns out I haven't died. There's a couple times maybe I almost got hit by a bus, but I actually did survive. Did not die. So if you're wondering to yourself, what happened to that stupid kid with this dumb face? I'm here. Hi. So I have been gone. I've been missing in action. Not killed, but missing. Simply because things have been busy, let's say. I do a lot of creative stuff, but I did get a new job here as a tour guide in the city of Toronto, in case you don't know. So it's a lot of walking, a lot of physical activity, a lot of involvement. Definitely some really, really good days, moments. Great job. One of the best I've ever had in my life, if not the best, but definitely drains you a lot physically. So all these times that I wanted to do a video, couldn't quite get around to it. And I had all of these expectations and plans to do them, and then they fail. And that's kind of actually what I wanted to talk about was expectations. We have expectations and they fail us so much. And why is that? Why is expectation such a spiritual killer? So I'll share with you guys a story. It was last night. I went for a night walk, something that you can do. You don't have to be a serial killer to go walk at night. You can be a normal person. And as I was going for a walk, everything was perfect. It was amazingly peaceful. This deep sense of peace came over me, permeated my being. The weather was perfect. There was a slight breeze. It wasn't too cold. The way that the breeze was hitting like the flowers, the houses at night, the lampposts, the little alleyways. It was all amazing. And I felt this deep sense of peace for probably 10-15 minutes. And then, as things go, around the 15-minute mark, I started to think to myself, how great would it be to permeate, or how great would it be to continue to have this feeling permeate within me? In other words, how can I make this feeling last? And then the peace went away. And this is what our expectations do to ourselves. So the moment that I came up with a plan or an expectation for how to make the rest of my life go like these moments that I've been experiencing the last 10-15 minutes, is the moment that the feeling started to go away. The reason I felt peace in the first place is because when I went outside, I had no plan on doing a night walk that day. I didn't think the night walk should have went X or Y. I didn't think it was supposed to be an amazing experience. I didn't think anything. I just did the action. And having no expectations allowed me to be open, which means anything could have happened. But the thing that chose to happen, or that I uncovered, was a deep sense of peace. And it's often kind of the same misguided attempts of finding peace that lands us in trouble, at least emotionally. I lived in Southern California for years, and everybody has this expectation that you go to Southern California, you go on a beach, and you sit in the sand or whatever, and somehow you are the most peaceful Zen bastard that ever lived. But no, like, I've been to plenty of beaches in my lifetime, and trust me, it turns out that you can just be just as depressed in San Diego as you can in Iowa. So it's not really a matter of going somewhere. Peace is actually a lack of action being taken. There's no consequence of peace. Or I should say, rather, there's nothing you have to do to get to peace as a consequence. If that's a little bit more clear for you to understand. Peace itself is almost I would say, a lack of wanting to do anything, a lack of desire. It's basically what we all want to feel. Nobody really wants to be happy. We all kind of just want peace. Happiness is great or whatever, but it's fleeting. Peace is a deeper meaning, but peace is not something you get to. And so catching myself thinking, oh my God, how can I get to how can I get to the same feeling tomorrow and the next day and the next day, is actually what causes us as spiritual beings to get out of that energy, to not find peace. Because peace is something that you stumble across. It's something you uncover. It's basically always been there. It's not something that you need to take a specific action for. Not having an expectation to go outside and kind of feel a certain kind of way allowed me to uncover the feeling that's always existing within me simultaneously. And in the moment, again, that I thought that I needed to do something specifically to keep this going, is the moment that it all kind of went away. And that's what happens to us. We think that we need all of these expectations and we need to do all of these things, but they hurt us. They hurt us in the long run, especially spiritual beings, because the more aware that we are of things, even if we're not exactly sure where they come from, the more aware that we are, the more difficult it's going to be to suppress things, to move through life inauthentically. And this spiritual process is basically grinding everybody down to a very fine pinpoint. And that pinpoint is who we are. Because I think in life, there's many, many different little narrow alleyways, so to speak, and all of this different shit that we take on, and it becomes us. But the real us, that thin little sliver existing among 7.5 billion souls, or whatever the population of the world is, that is very thin and unique, and it's unique to you particularly. But we're made up of so much different crap because of all of our influences that it's no wonder that so many of us don't know who we are and don't know why we feel the way we do. And having these expectations of how our life should go is not a good idea for the spiritually inclined, because what's going to happen is you're going to end up destroying any sense of joy or feelings of peace that can come your way, that are always there. Sort of like a river. You can't tell how a river is going to go or what it's going to look like at a certain point. But if you want to go with the flow of your own life, you need to be a part of that river. You can't have an expectation that it shouldn't take a left turn all of a sudden. That's not fair to the river or to yourself. You need to be able to allow things to happen. And while discipline is great, I'm of the camp that discipline is not actually a lifesaver. Logic, of course, works, but it's like when you want to do something, you don't need to plan for it. You'll just end up doing it, because the present moment tomorrow, if you decide to exercise, you're going to exercise. You don't need to plan now 1 p.m. to say, oh, well, tomorrow 1 p.m. I'll also exercise. Okay, great. But who says that tomorrow 1 p.m. you'll be alive or you'll be awake or whatever the hell will happen? You don't know. So in the moment, you can still have the same effect as basically as planning something. But at least then you know for a fact in the moment that you're doing it, whereas plans can often change, right? So for those of you who are wondering if I'm going to do videos in the future, yeah, I'll try, but I'm not going to try to make any plans, because apparently every time I make expectations, knowing myself, they don't really work out. So doing things more authentically for me, recognizing who I am, is important. And so I need to start doing videos in the present moment. And maybe that will be a better solution than planning everything ahead.